Disjunction, developed by Ape Tribe Games and published by Sold Out Games, is set in the year 2048. You'll play as 3 different characters, tangled up in a gang war and the drugs that are gripping the city. It's a whirlwind of stealth, chaos, and knockouts, wrapped in a cyberpunk aesthetic, and Disjunction is one of the first great games of 2021.
What can I say about Disjunction? Let's start with the art. I was immediately excited to see my good old pals, the Pixels, sitting front and center. As you all know, I adore a vintage look when it comes to games, and this one hit a sweet spot. The fact that Disjunction was able to throw you into a world that not only looks, but feels dirty and gritty, says a lot about those behind the scenes creating the atmosphere for the game. Overall, I felt I was in a city that had obviously seen better days. It's not a place where you'd go to take a pleasant stroll, for example. The game is dark, and the scenes, as well as the color palette, play that up to give you a really cool experience.
The gameplay is a stealth action game, as you sneak your way through levels, taking out enemies along the way. Fans of Hotline Miami will find a lot to love here, as your health tends to drop quick and enemies can be relentless. It'll take precise timing and patience to get through these stages quietly and without casualties, as you have options for a knockout or a kill. The game never punishes you for choosing to take the destroy everything route, and the different upgrades along the way can help tailor the experience to make each run feel different. I had a blast sneaking through levels and taking out enemies quietly, usually opting for the no-kill stealth route. When you're in the zone and everything clicks, you'll dance through a whirlwind of sight lines and enemy encounters. It's one of the most satisfying games I've played in a while. There are multiple paths through each level, allowing you to explore and figure out which way benefits your playstyle. Finding the right position and moment to attack is essential in Disjunction, and the game will punish you for making the wrong move. It never gets overly frustrating though, as you know it was your fault. Especially towards endgame, you'll need to know the different abilities each character has and use them properly to make it through unscathed. My personal favorite was Frank, as one of his abilities increases your melee damage, which let me crush enemies with ease.
The setting is New York City. You heard me right. The Big Apple. And while I love the fact that they grounded the game in a real place, it honestly felt like it could be any big city and what would seem like a place on the verge of a dystopian era. What captured me most was the initial grab of the story. I was immediately pulled in. I wanted to know more about the characters and their backgrounds. I mean, who doesn't love a main character with a less than stellar past? Or better yet, a character out to avenge a loved one. Ooh, and what if they added a bit of spice with a female character who holds her own in a corrupt society of criminals and lost souls? I'm telling you, if this was a dish, it would be the perfect bite.
The game uses sound and music so well. The electronic dark music comes in, thumping along with your heart rate as you weave through enemies. The music will cut out, leaving you with the sounds of the levels guiding you. The camera's turning, enemies walking, gunshots, and satisfying thwacks as you take an enemy out only enhance the experience the entire way through.
I found myself taking sides more than once as I delved deeper into the story, to the point where I felt like the characters would suddenly turn around and ask, "Hey, whose side are you on anyway?" To be honest, I felt connections with each of the characters, and that's saying something. You might ask what? Well, it's saying the writer and the developers wanted you to not only enjoy the gameplay, but relate and quite possibly get emotionally involved with what was happening in the story. For example, at one point in the game, I was given the choice to let someone go, turn them in, or kill them. Now, just so you know, I had been trying to go through the entire game without killing a single person. But when I got to him and we finished talking, I killed him without any remorse. It was actually quite satisfying.
The game's story will twist and turn as you learn about what's happening in the city. It'll ask you questions about what's morally right or wrong, and test your choices with consequences. The gray areas of the narrative really shine through, as you're left wondering if sacrificing the few truly benefits the many. Is giving up some freedom a worthy price for safety? The narrative feels timely and asks you to think about the state of the world and what comes next.
Now, on to some of my issues with the game. You could call this a user error, but I feel like there should be some sort of failsafe. I accidentally clicked a new game when I opened the game back up on the second day of playing and lost all of my progress. I couldn't go back to the point where I was at, and by this time I had put in about 3 solid hours. I think it would be great if maybe we had a little box pop up just saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Or even if we had multiple save slots, like 3. But just let me say, all in all, I think the story and the game are amazing. I went into the game without knowing anything about it and was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Would I pick up another game like it? Sure. If the story was as enthralling as this one, I'd even play it again after losing all of my saved data.
Disjunction does a lot of things right throughout its journey. The story will draw you in as you struggle to figure out the mysteries that bubble underneath New York City. The gameplay has hooks that will give you that one more level itch to keep going. Disjunction is a great game, and one that deserves your attention. Thank you so much to Ape Tribe Games for sending us code so we could review the game. And thank you to Mr. Midas for putting us in touch with them. If you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, and share. More content will be coming soon, and check out more of our channel below. If you want to hear the podcast, check us out at the Burnout Brighter podcast on any major podcast network or anchor.fm/burnoutbrighter. Thanks for watching.